I'm Laura. I'm a third year studying psychology and philosophy at St John's, and I'm also the JCR Disabilities Rep. I became disabled about a year ago, and this means that I fall over quite a lot, so sometimes walk around, sometimes use a wheelchair, and I have a great adapted room here in Kendry Quad for next year, which I'm going to show you around. Okay, so in the bathroom we've got kind of a low down mirror, pull down bars which are quite easy to move around, another pull cord, and there's also one right over the other side of the room because it's quite a massive room actually, so in case you need both of them. And then we've got a seat in the shower, which is very useful. It's useful for me anyway. The sink's nice and low so you can reach it from a wheelchair, and also next to the loo. And then, yeah, miscellaneous bars to generally help out. Because I've only been kind of ill for about a year, I haven't really experienced being disabled anywhere other than at St John's and at home. But I found that almost everyone is kind of very willing to just change things slightly so that you can be on a level pegging with everyone else. I think that the college and the university really want to see all of their students succeed academically and, you know, be happy in themselves at the same time. So generally they're very happy if there's something kind of feasible that they can do to make that happen. So since St John's is quite an old college, and it's kind of got the Oxford love affair with kind of doorsteps and cobbles, but there's always a kind of alternative route around college. There's a couple of automatic doors to get into and out of college, which means that you kind of can get around, not necessarily in exactly a straight line, but it's becoming a lot more accessible than I think it probably was recently. I'd say that the college and university are absolutely brilliant at getting kind of physical access, so for wheelchairs, or if you say you can't do stairs or whatever, physical access to tutorials and lectures, and pretty good for libraries, although the philosophy library could do with a bit of work. The Radcliffe Science Library is really accessible. It's occasionally a bit more difficult to do the fun to get into the fun things, because a lot of the colleges are really old, so they can't put everything on the ground floor, and I think they prioritise like academic things rather than the social things. But it's definitely getting better, and I think if you were to raise anything as being you know, like really leaving you out socially, then they take it seriously and try and do something about it. I became ill after I first came to university, so I'd already kind of made a good set of friends, and they had to adapt to various changes that I've made, but I'd still go out with them pretty much as normal. Sometimes I go out in a wheelchair and sometimes just walk with them, but they're lovely. One of my friends was given permission to be kind of next door because I will kind of tend to collapse without warning, and it's kind of useful if there's someone that I know around rather than just kind of other students that I don't know quite as well. People with dyslexia, dyspraxia, dyscalculia and that sort of thing, and people with mental health issues can apply for exam concessions, as can pretty much anyone with a disability, so that will allow you kind of as necessary to say only have one exam per day, or take sweets into an exam if you have what's it called, diabetes, or you know, bring water or medicines or whatever you need. You have to get that all arranged quite well in advance, but the university is quite willing to do that sort of thing. Also, you can take exams in college rather than over at exam schools, which might be easier for some people. And extra time as well. I'd say that the funding that you get given is just, the target of it is just to kind of get you on the same level as everyone else so that you can study as effectively as everyone else. So the idea isn't to, you know, give you any particular advantage or to single you out as being kind of different. It's just to kind of catch up with what other people are doing with their time. Well, as Disabilities Rep, I'm available to anyone who has any questions about what the college can do for them, or kind of wanting to raise something that's perhaps inaccessible with the JCR, or generally asking me who they need to get in contact with about different questions because different parts of the university deal with different things to do with disability. Like there's always someone to deal with it, but it's kind of quite difficult to track down who you need to be talking to sometimes, so that's what I'm there for. I think it's kind of expected that the student is very well organised themselves, so you end up sending and receiving a load of emails about kind of different adaptations, because it's like people are on side and really want to kind of help you out with things, but the college and university system means that you need to be quite clear about who you're talking to about what different adaptations. So you might be going to Oxford University Student Union for counselling. If you developed a disability, then obviously you might need some help there, and that would be completely separate from domestic changes, which you need to talk to the domestic people in your college about. And then that's different again from, say, speaking to the university about not being able to get to lectures. So everyone is very good at their job and will be absolutely wanting to make adaptations for you if you need them, but you do need to kind of work quite hard at finding out who you need to talk to, and then making the first move and actually getting in contact with them. But once you get kind of the hang of it, then it's pretty easy to be a little bit pushy and get stuff done. In terms of applying to university or Oxford or St John's in particular, you might be particularly worried about financial issues because of disability. And I'd advise any disabled student to apply for DSAs, which is Disabled Students Allowance, because all it involves is kind of a quick assessment, and then the government essentially will fund directly any equipment that you might need just to catch you up to speed with everyone else. So I think quite a lot of people have like dictaphones for lectures that will record the sound of a lecture. So if you have problems with energy or with writing, then you can kind of listen back to a lecture rather than reading over notes, or as well as reading over notes, which can help you cover things better. Personally, on DSAs, I've been given a printer so that I don't have to go back and forth to libraries to print things, and also an overbed table, which means that I can kind of work sitting in bed rather than at a desk, which is good. There's also other government funding that's generally for disabled people, no, it's not disability living allowance anymore, personal independence payments, I think. But hopefully if you are eligible for that kind of thing, then you'll already know something about it, because I don't know very much about it. And then the college will also fund things like taxis to a tutorial that's far away, for example. As long as you speak to someone about it, then you can just go to the Board of Lodge and say that you need a taxi to get to something academic, and they'll also fund a taxi in an emergency to get to the hospital. Also on DSAs, you can get non-medical helpers, so that would be a note taker, for example, or someone to help you try and organise your time if you're quite impaired at sorting out your time. And they also fund taxis, so you've got two kind of sources of funding for that one. So that's St John's and disability, and good luck in your application.